everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Smith's YouTube channel. So I've created a few videos about Unit 1, which was Java Basics. So we talked about variables, the difference between initialization and declaration of variables, and assignment. So now I'm going to be moving into how to actually take user input and store that into a variable. All right, so everything we've done so far, we have picked the value of our variable, and we're making our program more dynamic now because we're actually going to allow the user to input what they want. All right, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So there are notes for this. So the notes look like this. It basically goes through the step-by-step process. All right, so importing a scanner, creating a scanner, and then actually using the scanner with a prompt. Inside the notes, straight out of the Java API, there are examples of the methods you can use and what the methods do. So next int for reading in an int, next double, next Boolean, etc. Little bit of things to watch out for because sometimes there are weird issues with scanners, and then some comprehension questions which we will be covering in class. All right, so I just want to jump straight into NetBeans and get into this and show you some examples. So first thing we're going to do is start our project. So we're going to come up here to the gold box with the green plus, and we're going to click on that, which will allow us to start a project. All right, make sure that Java and Java application are checked, and then click next. And I'm going to call this YouTube user input, all right, because it's a YouTube video, and I'm talking about user input. Make sure that your main method is checked because we are doing an application. We're not doing a JPanel, JForm, anything like that, any type of GUI. So main method, we're going to leave that checked. All right, and then you'll click finish, and good old NetBeans will auto-generate our code. So I'm going to go ahead and delete out all this extra stuff just for the purpose of this video, and then I'm going to start talking about user input. So there are several steps you have to take to do user input, and the first thing you got to do is actually create a scanner. So the scanner is built into the Java API. So if you pull up the API, you can go and search for scanner, and you'll find everything about it. What it allows us to do is take user input from input devices. In this instance, we're going to use a keyboard. So I have my keyboard here. So we're going to create a keyboard scanner. All right, so step one, and I'm going to use comments here to kind of help us. You need to import the scanner. All right, so we're using an import statement to actually pull the scanner out of the Java API so that we can use it. So import java.util.scanner. All right, so now we've imported our scanner, and basically we've reached out into that Java API and we said we're going to use this. So now let's actually create it. So where we create the scanner is in this area here. All right, so this is a global area for our class. All right, right in here. And this is where we want to create our scanner. So it's a global area, which means that because we put it here, all our methods, including our main method, will be able to use the same scanner. So we don't have to create a new scanner inside of every method that we create because we have this global one up here at the top. All right, because it is global, you want to make it private. You also want to make it static. All right, so private and static. The reason you want to make it static is so you can use it in the main method. You'll notice here that the main method is static, so anything you use has to also be static. All right, so we have private static, all right, and then we say scanner keyboard is equal to new scanner system.in. All right, so this is just the, this is what you need to memorize. How you create the scanner is the same every time. All right, all these words have to be exactly like this, except keyboard is the variable name of our scanner, or technically it's the object name of our scanner. All right, so you can name it keyboard. Kind of the shortcut is KB. All right, but for the purpose of this video, I want to be very clear, so I'm going to call it keyboard. All right, but in class, you'll probably see me just shorten that to KB. All right, so step one was import scanner. Step two, create our scanner. And then step three, Step 3 is prompt the user for information. All right, so we need to actually prompt for info from the user. So that's a print statement. So we need to ask them something. Maybe it's, what is your name? You know, what is your name? All right. And then we need to actually, step 4 is use the scanner to store input. All right, and the way we do this, there's a couple things we got to think about. First thing is, what is their answer going to be? All right, so what is your name? Most people would answer with their name. So my name is Mr. Smith. All right, so that is a string. All right, so whenever you're using the scanner, you have to think about what type is it going to be. So I'm going to say string, call it a variable name, my name, is equal to, and now we use the scanner. So the scanner name we gave it is keyboard, and then I'm going to use a dot. All right, so here are all the methods that are pulled out of that Java API. So that import statement at the top is what allows us to have access to all of these methods right here for keyboard. All right, so we're using string, and there are actually, if you look over here on the right, actually my camera is in the way. It's a little better. If you look on the right here, you'll see that this all says string. So these are all methods that involve a string. So next and next line are the two that we're interested in right now. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and drag my camera back. So let's try dot next. All right. So if I run the program, all right, I clicked on the green play button. What is your name? Smith. Okay, it looks like it works, but the only way we can actually tell is if we print out this variable my name to see if something actually got stored in there. All right, so if I go here and I just say like, oh wow, your name is, and then I'm going to concatenate it, all right, my name. All right, so this is going to allow me to check to see what was stored inside of my name. So if I run it now and I put Smith, oh wow, your name is Smith. Seems like it works, right? Ask a question, type in our answer, and then it's able to print out our answer. So our scanner worked. Watch this though. If I click on this and it says, what is your name? And I type Mr. Smith, enter, it only scans in the Mr. Huh. Okay. So what is happening here is we have two different methods to use for strings. We have .next and we have .nextLine. Watch what nextLine does. So if I click this and now I type Mr. Smith, it actually scans the whole thing because I get Mr. Smith on my output. All right, so the difference is that keyboard.next scans only the first word or until first space. All right, this is also known as a token, first token. All right, keyboard.nextLine, just like in his name, scans the whole line and stores it. All right. So .next only gets the first word or until you reach a space, which is called a token. nextLine will actually scan the entire word or the entire sentence. So what is your name? Mr. Smith, but my students call me Smitty. All right. It'll scan the entire thing. Oh wow, your name is Mr. Smith, but my students call me Smitty. All right. Again, if I change this back to .next and try that, it only gets the Mr. All right, that's very important. All right, so scanners are pretty easy. The only thing you really need to know, I'm going to change this back down to next line, is that you got to match variable types, right? So you only have to do step 1 and 2, so the import and create scanner. You only have to do that one time. But every time we want to prompt the user again, all right, so prompt for, let's prompt for a Boolean now. All right, so I'm gonna say true or false, the Falcons are good this year. All right, so I want the user to tell me true or false, are the Falcons good? So I know that because they're gonna answer true or false, I need to store this in a Boolean. All right, and I'm gonna call it Falcons good. And I'm gonna say keyboard.next. All right, well, just watch. If I just type keyboard and put the period, here are all my Boolean options. And one of them right here is next Boolean, all right? So that should let me store in my Boolean. So how do I check if it worked? Well, I need to print it. So Falcons good. All right, and I'm gonna put Falcons good in my variable name. All right, so let's run it. What is your name? Mr. Smith. Oh wow, your name is Mr. Smith. True or false? The Falcons are good this year? It's definitely false. And then it stores false and prints it back out. All right, let's double check that true works. True does work. All right, so true and false are case sensitive. So really I should have put, it's gotta be a lowercase t and a lowercase f. All right, so this works for everything. All right, we could do it with a double. So one more example, show you a double. Prompt for a double. So how much money do you make in a year? All right, so they're gonna put in a double, probably. Money made. Keyboard.next double. And wow. I hope to make, maybe we concatenate it here. Money made. When I grow up. So I'm just concatenating the variable in between two strings in this example. All right, so I run it. Mr. Smith, false. All right, how much money do you make in a year? Let's say $50,162.12. Wow, I hope to make $50,162.12 when I grow up. All right, so it's able to scan in that double and then print it back out. All right, so guys, that's pretty much it for user input. If you take a look at the notes here, there is an issue. Sometimes when you use a next int and then a next double, it'll skip over the next double. So you just need to add an n.next line to fix that. Again, that's something that you're gonna encounter and you're gonna have to just kind of learn and read and maybe Google a little bit when that happens. But yeah, that's about it. Again, we're gonna be doing a lab called What's the Area in Class. I'm not planning to make a video for that because it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is write the mathematical functions for the area of rectangle, triangle, ellipse, circle, trapezoid, etc. All right, so it's just scanning in values and doing a mathematical calculation. Next video that'll be coming out will be about relational operators and condition statements. So look out for that. As always, please subscribe and drop a like, and I will see you next time.